prior to that, the sick leave procedure was if you're missing 3 days, you got to have a doctor's statement. And that was it. If you were gone 1 or 2 days, it didn't require a doctor's statement. And it's just, I mean, it's too much of a coincidence that he comes to us with this that just is conveniently hand dated the day before the sick act. You know, to me, and I think to most reasonable people, they're going to say, well, he did this the day that it happened, and he backdated it. Now, that, you know, I don't know is the case. That's something for the court to determine, but that's certainly going to be our position.
We can't really comment at this point about the merits of the case, but at this point we can simply reiterate our position that their grievance procedures that they have prayed for in the petition are out of time at this point because they are no longer employees. And the fact that they are asking for an appeal process at this point, we're just going to have to wait and see what the court does on that. We feel like we've given them all the appeals that our merit system calls for, and there are no other avenues open to us to be able to implement. Traffic control up here. I can't move anything.
Open meetings. I'm going to make another statement in another area, but prior to that, do you have any questions on the private sector that they would like to participate in this research development? So one of the requirements that we would like to ask, and one of the opportunities we would like to give to the private sector, is that they join the state in this commitment, and we ask that the private sector match dollar for dollar in each case the state's contribution, so that a $15 million for agricultural research would be matched by the private sector for $15 million, or the possibility of a $30 million agricultural research program at Oklahoma State University. And that we'd offer to the University of Oklahoma $15 million to be matched equally by the private sector of energy to have a $30 million energy research center at OU.
The Native American Education Center has occupied the Orchard Park building for the past 3 years. The school recycles young Indian high school dropouts. It offers tutors to needy students, and it prepares 3 to 5-year-olds for public school. Education Center officials know that without their training, many of the Indian children would be far behind other students when they begin their public school education. But school administrators found out last night the district will sell the building next month. A school spokesman says he's disappointed the center didn't receive the same consideration given to another local school.
Now, we know that Oklahoma State University Tech is a very strong lobby, has a lot of money. They went to the Oklahoma City School Board. They took the Chamber of Commerce with them. They took their Board of Regents with them. And the Board of Education just laid over and played dead and went on ahead and said, yes, we'll gladly lease the building. We'll gladly give you an extension for another year. Okay, here comes the Native American Center. All we're asking the school board to do is to be consistent. Is to be consistent and say, give us the same shake you did with Oklahoma State University Tech. We want an extension on the lease. We want to negotiate with you. We'll go fair market value. Give us a chance to find another building so that we can have a smooth transition and not have to throw our children out on the street.
School supporters will be in Washington later this week to try to drum up enough money to buy the present school building. But if they fail, then the Native American Education Center might have to move back into this building on South Robinson Street, where the facilities for education are less than ideal. Scott Wallace, Action 4, South Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma County Republican Chairman Harold Hite made a public appeal today for the resignation of Commissioner Ralph Adair. At yesterday's federal grand jury hearing, Adair took the Fifth Amendment in refusing to answer questions about his job performance. But he also said he has never accepted money or a bribe in his office. Since Adair has not been formally implicated or indicted in connection with the kickback scandal, Hite was asked why Republicans should call for Adair's resignation.
I'm saying that when you refuse to respond to the legitimate efforts of a grand jury to clean up a situation which quite obviously exists and is a source of growing embarrassment to people all over the state as well as in our own county, when you refuse to become a part of that operation, when you're offered the opportunity to respond and refuse, you can no longer contribute and should resign.
Hite stressed his group was not condemning Adair, but that they strongly feel he should not remain in office. No formal action will result from today's statement, but Hite hopes that public response to the situation may be influenced. Carol Lambert, Action 4, at the Oklahoma County Republican headquarters.
Cavanaugh. We're headed to Dallas, and if you're planning on heading this direction, we're going to have some pointers for you here in the newscast. Stay with us. Like you said, Gary, this Texas game is a tradition. It's going to be a tradition this year, but there are going to be a few things that are different.
Things will be different on Commerce Street. Police are going to shut down the party early this year. They're tired of years of trying to keep the peace on Commerce. The festivities, which used to last into the early morning hours, are going to be shut down by 11:30. Police say if tradition holds true, most of those arrested will be Dallas citizens, not OU or Texas fans, although a few still do show up.
I've been coming down here for now on 20 years. I'm from Wapanookie, Oklahoma.
You enjoy it?
I enjoy it. I just enjoy the hell out of it. Someday I ain't even gonna bring my wife along.
And the game itself is sold out for the 37th year in a row.
So if you don't have these, you might have a tough time getting them. But a word of warning, if you intend to take tickets down to Dallas and scalp them this year, think twice.
The city of Dallas passed an ordinance. That ordinance prohibits scalping tickets, and we would hope that everyone who doesn't know about that ordinance would be prepared. That doesn't prevent them from exchanging tickets at the face value, but it is against the Dallas City Ordinance. We'll have signs up advising everyone about it, and hopefully they'll be able to see those signs and we won't have any problems with it.
So that's how things look for the 1981 Texas OU game. If you're heading down, be careful and have a safe trip. We'll be broadcasting live for our evening news and our news tomorrow night at 10 o'clock from Commerce Street, letting you see exactly what's going on. Back to you in the studio, Gary. Jim, a lot of folks are getting ready to pack things up and get ready for the trip to Dallas tomorrow. How's the weather going to be? This game Saturday for the OU Sooners is important in more ways than one. As a matter of fact, it's the 800th game the OU Sooners have played since they started playing football in 1895. Bob, what do you think about that? Were you there?
Family members started gathering at Perla Peterson's house almost immediately after receiving word of the arrest. The aunt of missing Charlotte Kinsey says the family is almost too excited for words.
She is excited. She's glad they got him. Very, very glad she's gone. She feels right now we're going to hear something. That's the main thing.
Inside, the air was filled with tension. Charlotte Kinsey's mother sat anxiously by the telephone, waiting for the call police assured her would come soon. Mrs. Peterson is confident that God is looking out for her daughter and her missing friend. She has held on to that belief throughout this long ordeal. Her hope is now that it won't have to sustain her and her family too much longer. Ted Brown, Action 4 with the Charlotte Kinsey family on the South Side.
In the past 24 hours, the trail for Don Michael Corey has led across several states, starting in Jackson, Mississippi, and ending here tonight in a small town near Montgomery, Alabama, where a county fair began this week. Around noon today, a man went to the First Baptist Church here in Greenville asking for indigent help. The minister gave the man a form and directed him to the police station. When police ran a routine check on the form, they realized he was Don Corey, the man being sought on kidnapping and fugitive charges. He was then arrested on the spot in the police station. Greenville Police Chief Kenneth Flowers told me tonight Corey acted surprised, but did not resist arrest. Tonight, authorities have Corey's car in custody, a station wagon loaded with clothes and personal belongings. A hearing was held this afternoon in which bond was denied for the suspect, and an extradition hearing is set for 10 a.m. Monday. As for the two missing girls, police have had 4 to 5 sightings of them and have strong reason to believe that they are in the immediate area. That's about where the case stands now. It looks like the search will continue throughout the night in hopes of finding Charlotte Kinsey and Cinda Pallett before morning. Carol Lambert, Action 4 in Greenville, Alabama.
After police arrested Don Corey Friday afternoon, he was brought here to the Butler County Jail, where Greenville City Police also house prisoners. Although Oklahoma City authorities requested a $1 million bond be set, the judge instructed Corey be held without bail. Early Saturday morning and again in the afternoon, Corey was driven from the jail to a local hospital in Greenville. There, Corey was given the painkiller Demerol. He's reportedly addicted to the drug and is now being transported 3 times a day to get a shot. Some officers feel he's exaggerating his withdrawal symptoms, but Greenville police are taking no chances with Corey's health. Meanwhile, trash was all that remained this morning from the Butler County Fair, which pulled out of Greenville during the night. Police made one final search of the fairgrounds to check for any indication that Charlotte Kinsey and Cinda Pallett might have been there. But no concrete evidence turned up linking the girls or Corey to the fair. In fact, the Baptist minister, one of the few people in town who talked to Corey, said he claimed he was on vacation.
He told me his story. He said, "I spent the night in my station wagon last night, my wife and I and our 2 girls." So I buzzed Nancy and asked her to bring me a transient form. And the guy appeared not nervous, but kind of distraught.
It's still a mystery why a man wanted for kidnapping would risk going to the police station in hopes of getting only a few dollars. The Greenville police chief said today all they can do now is check any lead that comes up.
We have had some information of some possible other cities here in Alabama that he may have been in the couple of days prior to getting to Greenville. We cannot verify that at this time, but we are checking and trying to retrace his route in Alabama. Other than that, at this point, there have been very few new developments in the case.
Corey will have an extradition hearing tomorrow here at the Butler County Courthouse. Officials say even if he waives extradition, his medical condition may be a factor in deciding when Corey will have his next court appearance. This quiet town in Alabama is filled with theories and rumors as to where the 2 missing girls could be, but the one man who might possibly shed some light on their whereabouts is still not talking. Authorities hope that when they can question Don Michael Corey, some small clue may surface that will help them find Charlotte Kinsey and Cinda Pallett. Carol Lambert, Action 4 in Greenville, Alabama.
At a news conference, officials of Humana said they have applied for a certificate of need with the Oklahoma Health Planning Commission to build a 125-bed hospital in Yukon at a cost of $22 million. The company owns hospitals in 23 other states and 2 European countries. The officials say Yukon is in desperate need of a hospital as it continues to grow.
From a population of 20 years ago of around 3,000, jumped in the last 10 years to 8,000, and at the present time it's about 17,000 to 18,000, and that's just in Yukon proper. In the immediate surrounding area, there's probably 22,000 to 24,000 people presently. We estimate that by 1986, the area will be 30,000 to 31,000 population. It's one of the 10 largest communities in the nation that does not have readily available hospital. Of course, the healthcare consumers at this time must drive a distance of a minimum of 10 miles to receive health care.
If approved, the 4-story structure would be open in 1983 with full-service hospital care and 24-hour emergency room service. Doctors in the Yukon area say the hospital is needed.
We have a lot of young people here, a lot of young couples, maybe what you'd consider a bedroom community. A lot of people work in Oklahoma City, live over here, enjoy living over here. It's a real nice place to live.
Even the Yukon City Council has gone on record saying a hospital is needed, but the ultimate decision rests with the Health Planning Commission, which will be meeting in December. In the meantime, even with the target completion date of 1983, the doctors here say, judging from the growth in Yukon, a hospital will certainly be needed by then. Bella Shaw, Action 4 in Yukon.
Tim O'Hara of the Rene Guyon Society is seeking to change the laws, making it legal to have sex with children. O'Hara says they have to learn from somebody. On the other hand,
Well, that's ridiculous. Yeah, they have to learn, but they don't have to learn it directly from adults or parents. They're not, in fact, ready to learn the adult role of sexuality when they're still children. That's a crazy assumption. It really can interfere in a major way in their future development.
Child molesters photograph children for the skyrocketing kiddie porn trade. Ken Smith with the Oklahoma City Police Department Sex Crimes Unit says child pornography is big business.
Well, everybody thinks all these movies and all this stuff is made in the foreign country. 10% of it is made over there. 90% of it is made by pedophiles. I'm a pedophile, you're a pedophile. I have some boys, I take pictures of my boys doing various things, and I send them to you. When you have a stable, you send them to me. Over a period of time, it's like a cancerous type of thing. It spreads from one pedophile to another who has another pedophile, and they make contact with each other, and there's ways to do that. They have magazines and brochures that they send out that they can advertise in, literally advertise in, that they're interested in sexual favors of the same type of interest. And so over a period of time, it ends up overseas and put into booklets called whatever, the Gay Boys or the Happy Boys or the London Boys or the Oklahoma Boys, whatever the case may be, the name of it. Then it's shipped back in mass production. It's very, very expensive, very big business. Next to dope, I would think it's probably right up on the top. Dope and gambling, it's right up in their pornography. It's very big business.
But the children are generally willing participants?
Yes, and on a pedophile, all of them do that out of two things, attention and affection. They're not forced to do anything that you see in the books that I've showed you or in any of the movies that they make. They're not being forced to do it. They're doing it because the man or the woman, well, mostly the men, but there are cases of women. The men have treated them nice and given the attention and affection that they have not been able to receive wherever in their particular home life or whatever the case may be.
Texas, okay. If you want to get to Texas, you're going to have to go through Durant, Oklahoma.
There were some witnesses at the scene of another crime this morning. The only problem was it was too dark for them to tell if one or two people were involved. But here's what happened there. Someone apparently came in through a bedroom window and stabbed 34-year-old Bobby Jean Likens to death. The suspect or suspects fled through a back door, possibly to a getaway car. And that's what police are theorizing because footprints were found by their canine units. All of this happened about 5 this morning on Northwest 50th Street. Police are still looking for the suspects and a motive. Bella Shaw, Action 4.
The lineup for kidnapping suspect Don Michael Corey has turned up mixed results in identifying him as the man last seen with the 2 girls in Oklahoma City. Authorities are working around the clock, checking for stronger leads showing that Corey is involved in their disappearance. In addition, District Attorney Bob Macy is filing additional charges on Corey today.
Yes, this afternoon we are preparing and filing against Don Corey 2 counts of obtaining controlled dangerous substances by fraud. These are felony counts carrying from up to 10 years and a $10,000 fine on each count.
The nagging question still remains as to where Charlotte Kinsey and Cinda Pallett are. It'll soon be 3 weeks since they were last seen. Macy says, however, a new lead is being checked today.
We have had a couple of calls today of potential sightings of the girls. This was things that happened back in early October when they thought they may have been seen, and we're checking those out.
There have been numerous possible sightings of the girls since they disappeared. Maybe this time will bring good news. Carol Lambert, Action 4 at the Oklahoma County Courthouse.
"31-year-old Melissa Harrelson is a married career woman. She works 9 to 5 and is a high school guidance counselor. 31-year-old Jerry also works 9 to 5 as a college admission counselor. Both enjoy what they do very much. Since they bring home 2 paychecks, money is not much of a problem. But with 2 small children, it makes for some very long days.
I kind of feel, and I think it depends on the person, I'm a better mother for being away during the day. Although I enjoy her greatly and I enjoy both of them, I feel like being away and doing things that I enjoy doing during the day, I can come home and have a better time with them than, if I was here all day long, day in and day out.
If the mother needs to go back to work, if she wants to go back to work, and if she can get quality care, it isn't a bad thing. She probably will be a better mother by not staying at home when she doesn't want to.
Because of the women's rights movement and inflation, this will become more and more a way of life. However, the traditional families don't care for that choice. Dewey and Mary Merritt cherish their conventional lifestyle of having a mother at home to care for the children's daily needs.
We do things together in general. We go to the soccer games together. We go to church together.
Dewey prefers his wife not work while the children are at home.
When I know the problems or the things they come home with that are settled almost immediately, if they need some special help, then Mary's there to give them the guidance and to watch over them more or less and to help them. It just seems to me that's one of the best ways that it can be done.
On working couples and daycare, the Merritts have this to say.
No matter how competent they are or how well trained they are, I don't think anybody can give more attention to your child than you can.
I personally think that the children would enjoy having their mothers at home.
Kids such as these who attend a Head Start program at the old Tyler Elementary School in Oklahoma City may soon be out of a playground. Likewise, senior citizens who get help from community action programs offered in old school buildings may also soon be out of luck. The Oklahoma City School Board says it must sell its abandoned schools because of financial pressure. Various social agencies who now rent those buildings may be left out in the cold. Residents of the Dungee community met tonight to begin a campaign to save their present facility.
Well, of course, nationally we will have to look for funding from foundations, from block grants, some kind of funding like that. Those kind of funds are available for low and moderate income people to acquire or to remodel properties.
Bids for the old Dungee High School will be taken on December the 21st. Brown and the others hope they can come up with the money to buy themselves a school for Christmas. Carol Lambert, Action 4.